Have you ever noticed the quiet transformations in our elderly loved ones? A gentle shift in their demeanor, a subtle change in their routine, that seem to whisper of something deeper? It's a tender thought, yet understanding these signs can be a profound gift. Many seniors exhibit specific physical and behavioral changes up to a year before their passing. These changes, often mistaken for natural aging, are the body's way of signaling its final chapter. In this video, we delve into 7 key indicators that often manifest in a year leading up to an elderly individual's passing. From unexpected weight fluctuations to shifts in behavior, these signs offer invaluable insights into the body's internal journey. Recognizing them allows families to provide the necessary support and care, ensuring dignity and comfort in life's concluding moments. Stay with us as we explore these signs, aiming to prepare you emotionally and potentially improve the quality of life for your loved ones. Whether you're concerned for yourself or someone dear, this information is essential for all. The silent shedding. Unexplained weight loss. One of the earliest and most poignant signs is sudden, unexplained weight loss. When an elderly person begins to lose weight without changes in diet or activity, it's often a red flag. This weight loss isn't merely about numbers on a scale. It's about what the loss signifies. It could indicate underlying conditions like cancer, advanced heart disease, or organ failure. Consider Richard, an 82-year-old man who was once the robust pillar of his family. Over a few months, he lost nearly 15 pounds without any apparent reason. Initially dismissed as normal aging, his family soon noticed his diminished appetite and loose-fitting clothes. A medical evaluation revealed an underlying condition affecting his ability to maintain weight. By then, his body had already weakened significantly. Weight loss in the elderly often comes with decreased appetite. They might skip meals, feel full quickly, or lose interest in previously enjoyed foods. While this can result from changing taste buds or medication side effects, it might also indicate a deeper issue. As the body nears the end of life, its need for food naturally decreases. However, sudden and rapid weight loss should prompt immediate medical attention. Family members should be vigilant. If an elderly person frequently tightens their belt, if jewelry becomes loose, or if they appear visibly thinner, it's time to consult a doctor. Early intervention can lead to the discovery of manageable conditions. Even if nothing serious is found, dietary adjustments, nutritional supplements, or medication management can slow the decline and enhance overall well-being. The deepening stillness. Increased fatigue and weakness. Another common yet overlooked sign is a persistent sense of fatigue and weakness. This isn't the typical tiredness after a long day. It's a profound exhaustion that lingers, unaffected by rest. When someone who was once active begins to struggle with simple daily tasks, it's often a sign of the body slowing down in a significant way. Fatigue in older adults can result from various causes, but as life nears its end, it's often linked to declining organ function. The heart may not pump efficiently, reducing oxygen and nutrient delivery to muscles. The kidneys or liver might not filter toxins effectively, leading to a buildup that causes sluggishness. Even the immune system can become overworked, leaving little energy for other activities. Take Margaret, a 78-year-old who loved gardening. For years, she spent her mornings tending to her flowers. Gradually, her daughter noticed changes. Margaret would tire quickly, leaning on her shovel for support. Eventually, even climbing the steps to her front door became challenging. Initially attributing it to aging, the rapid progression indicated something more profound. Doctors often observe patterns in energy levels. If someone who once enjoyed reading, socializing, or cooking now prefers resting, it signals deeper issues. Chronic fatigue in the elderly isn't just about sleepiness. It's about losing the strength and motivation to engage in daily life. The body might be conserving energy for essential functions, shutting down non-essential ones. Fatigue also affects mood and mental clarity. Prolonged weakness can lead to disengagement from surroundings, increased daytime sleep, reduced communication, and loss of interest in previously enjoyed activities. This isn't merely a mental shift. It's the body's way of conserving energy. The vanishing voice. withdrawal and disinterest in social engagement. There's something heartbreaking about watching someone slowly fade from the conversations they once led. One of the most emotionally jarring changes families witness in the final year of a loved one's life is withdrawal. A steady, silent retreat from social interactions, hobbies, and once cherished routines. This isn't simply an elderly person slowing down. It's deeper. It's a subtle vanishing act, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Eleanor, 85, was known for her radiant laugh and Sunday dinners that brought 3 generations together. But gradually, she stopped answering phone calls. She declined dinner invitations and sat in silence during family visits. Her once lively eyes seemed distant, even as her granddaughter showed her a drawing. Her family mistook it for depression. In truth, it was Eleanor's spirit preparing for a transition none of them were ready to face. Disengagement can be the mind and body's way of preparing for closure. As the physical self begins its gradual decline, the emotional and mental focus turns inward. It's not always sadness, often it's acceptance. Loved ones should respond with gentle presence rather than forceful engagement. Sit beside them, hold their hand, let the silence speak. Sometimes, what's needed most isn't conversation, but simple companionship, a reminder they are not alone on this quiet path. The telltale breath, irregular breathing and shortness of breath, the rhythm of life, is most noticeable in breath. And when that rhythm changes, it speaks volumes. In the final stages of life, changes in breathing patterns are common. Breaths may become shallow, uneven, or labored. There may be moments of rapid breathing followed by long pauses, known as Cheyne-Stokes respiration. These shifts can begin months before death and become more pronounced as time goes on. National Institute on Aging. Consider Harold, a retired mechanic who had lived with congestive heart failure for years. One afternoon, his daughter noticed he was struggling to catch his breath after walking just a few feet. Later that week, she sat at his bedside and counted long pauses between his breaths. The change was subtle but haunting. Shortness of breath, especially when lying down or during simple movements, often reflect a decline in heart or lung function. As oxygen levels drop, the body compensates by breathing faster or harder. This can result in fatigue, dizziness, or even anxiety. It's essential not to panic. Gentle elevation, fans, and prescribed medications can help. More importantly, awareness of these signs allows for appropriate hospice care and comfort measures, ensuring dignity in those final months. The dimming light. Mental confusion and disorientation, cognitive changes are perhaps the most frightening for families to witness. When a loved one begins to forget names, lose track of time, or confuse familiar surroundings. This isn't just age-related memory decline. It's often a sign that the body's systems, including the brain, are struggling. Decreased oxygenation, infections, medication side effects, or even a natural dying process can lead to confusion, hallucinations, or agitation. Dolores, 90, once a vibrant schoolteacher, began asking her son when her long-deceased husband would be home. She sometimes packed a small bag, convinced she had to go teach her morning class. At first, it was met with soft correction, but over time, the family learned to lean into her reality with love, responding not with correction, but with comfort. This confusion can be distressing, but it is rarely intentional. It's important to remain patient and gentle. Speak calmly. Offer reassurance. Validate their feelings rather than confronting their perceptions. Sometimes the heart understands what the mind can't. That a tender tone and soft touch matter more than the right answer. The subtle goodbye. Changes in skin, temperature, and circulation as the body begins to conserve energy and redirect blood flow to essential organs. The skin offers visual clues. You might notice cool hands and feet, pale or bluish fingers, or mottled patches on the limbs. These signs can appear weeks or even months before the end and often increase in frequency over time. The body, in its wisdom, is preparing for the inevitable. William, an 87-year-old Navy veteran, had always been resilient. But during the last year of his life, his hands were almost always cold, and his feet had begun to show purplish discoloration. His wife of 60 years would wrap him in soft blankets, always brushing his cheek gently, as if trying to hold him to this world. These skin changes aren't painful, but they are meaningful. They're a sign that the body's resources are being carefully allocated. It's not a failure. It's a transition. Family members can help by keeping loved ones warm and comfortable, avoiding tight socks or shoes, and gently massaging limbs to stimulate circulation. But most of all, offer your presence. Even a fading hand will hold onto love. The final turn. Changes in sleep and consciousness when someone you love begins sleeping for most of the day, speaking less, or slipping into long silences. It's tempting to feel helpless, even panicked. But what they may truly need in that moment isn't fixing. It's peace. It's knowing that you're there, loving them without demanding anything in return. As their world becomes quieter, ours must become softer. We speak in whispers. We offer touch instead of talk. We read poems, play familiar songs, and let them know, without pressure, that they are safe, they are cherished, and they can rest. During this time, you may notice that the person occasionally opens their eyes and smiles at something no one else can see. They may whisper the names of long-gone loved ones, speak as if they're in two places at once, or look beyond the room with a sense of peace that feels otherworldly. This isn't confusion. In many cases, it's clarity of the soul recognizing the nearness of home. And sometimes they wait. Some wait until every family member has come to say goodbye. Others wait for a moment of privacy, slipping away between breaths when the room is still. This, too, is part of the mystery of leaving. The understanding that this kind of behavior isn't intentional can make all the difference. It shifts the way families respond, from frustration and confusion to patience and compassion. And while a gentle pullback from social interaction is somewhat expected in older adults, a sudden or dramatic change is something you should never ignore. That's why subtle forms of engagement can work wonders. A short visit, listening to music together, even sitting in comfortable silence. These little moments preserve connection without overwhelming someone who may already be emotionally or physically drained. In more serious cases, when withdrawal is accompanied by confusion, fatigue, or health changes, seeking medical help isn't just recommended, it's essential. Because social withdrawal doesn't always start in the heart. Sometimes it begins in the body, and it can be one of the first quiet signs that something deeper is happening. If someone you love is pulling away, let that be your cue. Not to press, but to show up, to observe, to love, and to get help if needed. Recurring infections or slow healing, one of the more sobering signs that someone may be nearing the final stage of life, is a consistent breakdown of their immune defenses. You might notice this through a pattern. Colds that won't go away, urinary tract infections that keep returning, or minor wounds that stay red and swollen for weeks instead of days. This isn't just about getting older. It's about the body running out of reserves. The immune system is like a silent guardian, constantly scanning, fighting, and repairing. But as the body ages, this system starts to falter. White blood cells decline, inflammatory responses weaken, and the ability to heal begins to fade. Take Walter, for example. He was 81, still gardening every week, still keeping up with his crossword puzzles. But then he started getting sick more often. Little colds turned into bronchitis. A tiny cut from pruning roses didn't heal for a month. Then came the urinary tract infection that led to fever and confusion, and a rush trip to the hospital. The strong man who rarely needed a doctor was now struggling to fight even the smallest battles. One of the most dangerous aspects of recurring infections in older adults is how quietly they arrive. A younger person might get a high fever or stabbing pain, but an older adult, they might just seem off, more tired, less talkative, a bit confused. These are not just personality changes. They're often medical emergencies waiting to happen. And then there's slow healing. If your loved one gets a bruise or cut, and it lingers far longer than it used to, it could be due to poor circulation. And when the body can't deliver oxygen and nutrients effectively, wounds remain open and vulnerable to infection. Sometimes these infections are red flags for something deeper. Kidney dysfunction, uncontrolled diabetes, even organ decline. Because when the body begins preparing for the end, it starts prioritizing essential functions, shutting down non-essentials like repair and regeneration. If you notice signs like these, don't wait. Speak to a doctor. Ask questions. Explore options. In some cases, better hydration or medication adjustments can make a world of difference. But other times, these infections are the body's quiet way of saying it's getting tired. And knowing this allows you to respond not with fear, but with care, grace, and preparation. If you're still with me and you found this insight helpful, please drop a number 4 in the comments so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Every new subscriber helps us bring this kind of vital, human-centered information to more people. Let's keep going. Difficulty swallowing or loss of appetite, another deeply concerning sign that the body is nearing its final chapter, is something most of us take for granted. Eating. More specifically, the sudden loss of appetite or difficulty swallowing, known medically as dysphagia, can be the body's way of saying it's no longer processing nourishment like it once did. This change can come gradually or all at once. Swallowing involves dozens of muscles and nerves, all orchestrating a symphony in perfect timing. But when age or illness interrupts that harmony, eating can become confusing, painful, even dangerous. Take Helen. She was 83 and had always loved her routine. Morning toast, soft jazz, and a cup of coffee. But her daughter started noticing small changes. Helen was chewing longer, drinking less. Sometimes she'd cough or wince slightly when swallowing. Eventually, she stopped finishing meals altogether. Even her beloved morning coffee sat untouched. By the time the family sought help, her body was already running on fumes. Loss of appetite isn't just about food. It's about energy. And when the body starts shutting down, it no longer asks for fuel. Because deep inside, it knows it doesn't need much more. This can lead to dangerous malnutrition. Muscles waste away. Immunity crumbles. The person weakens even more, physically and mentally. And for families, it's heartbreaking. You want to help. You want them to eat. But pushing food can feel like pushing against a locked door. Instead, offer small, nutrient-rich meals that are easy to swallow. Broths, soft fruits, nutritional shakes, and always consult with a doctor. Sometimes therapy helps. Other times, alternative feeding methods may be discussed. But above all, understand this. When someone stops eating, it may be their way of quietly letting go. Support them, be there, and ensure they're as comfortable and cared for as possible. Unsteady walking or frequent falls, a sudden change in how someone moves, how they walk, balance, or even stand, can speak volumes about what's happening inside their body. It's not just clumsiness, and it's not always about weak legs. Frequent falls or unsteady walking often point to serious underlying changes. Muscle loss, nerve damage, or circulation problems. Sometimes, it's a condition called sarcopenia, the accelerated loss of muscle mass with age. This makes basic activities feel like uphill climbs. Getting out of a chair, walking across a room, stepping into the shower. It all becomes a challenge. Consider Frank. At 79, he still did his own shopping and enjoyed walking through the park. But in a few short months, he started stumbling. At first, he dismissed it. Just lost my footing. But then came the first real fall. Then another and another. Soon, Frank was using furniture for balance and hesitating at every step. A medical exam revealed poor circulation and early signs of neurological decline. His body was no longer sending the right signals fast enough. His legs were losing strength. His confidence was crumbling. Neurological issues like Parkinson's, small strokes, or dementia often interfere with balance. The brain stops coordinating movement efficiently. Signals slow down or get confused. And then there's circulation. As the heart ages, it struggles to pump blood effectively. That means less oxygen reaches the limbs, especially the legs. Weakness sets in, dizziness follows, and the risk of falling becomes ever-present. But falls aren't just accidents. They're events with consequences. A broken hip, a concussion, a hospitalization, and often, after one major fall, an elderly person's health can decline rapidly and permanently. That's why noticing the signs early, hesitation while walking, grabbing furniture, getting lightheaded, can be life-saving. If your loved one seems unsteady, get help immediately. A walker, a cane, physical therapy, these can prevent tragedy. And if deeper issues are at play, catching them early could give you time to prepare, adapt, and plan. Because sometimes, a stumble is more than a trip. It's the body whispering that it's balance, both physical and internal, is beginning to fade. Forgetfulness, trouble following conversations, sudden confusion about where you are or what time it is, even seeing or hearing things that aren't really there. These aren't just quirks of aging. When these symptoms appear suddenly or intensify rapidly, they could signal something far more serious, something quietly unfolding beneath the surface. You see, the brain depends on a steady, uninterrupted flow of oxygen and nutrients to function properly. But when the body begins to weaken, whether due to aging, illness, or organ dysfunction, the brain is often one of the first organs to cry out for help. In some cases, cognitive decline stems from reduced blood flow. The brain isn't receiving the oxygen it needs. And just like a plant deprived of sunlight, it starts to wither. In others, it's triggered by an undiagnosed infection, a medication reacting poorly, or even the early stages of liver or kidney failure. And when the body begins to conserve its limited energy, funneling it toward only the most vital organs, complex processes like memory, attention, and reasoning start to fade. Take 85-year-old Dorothy, for instance. Her family described her as a firecracker, sharp as a tack, never missing a birthday, always eager to share stories from decades ago. She was the keeper of family lore, the one who remembered who wore what at which wedding 30 years prior. But over the span of a few weeks, something changed. She began to repeat herself, harmless at first, forgetting she'd already told her son about a neighbor's cat or misplacing the remote twice in the same hour. Then, more concerning signs crept in. She forgot where she was driving. She woke up in the middle of the night, convinced it was morning. One evening, with a faraway look in her eyes, she told her granddaughter she had seen her late husband standing in the hallway, smiling. That was the moment they knew this wasn't just old age. This was something else. Hallucinations. For families, they can be heartbreaking. For the person experiencing them, they can be terrifying. Visual, auditory, or even tactile hallucinations, feeling something touch you when nothing is there, are often misunderstood, brushed aside, or hidden out of shame. But these episodes can be a profound warning sign. They can stem from neurological conditions like dementia or Parkinson's. Yes, but they can also be triggered by more immediate threats: urinary tract infections, dehydration, high fever, or medication toxicity. Sometimes, the brain simply doesn't have the strength to maintain its grip on reality. And then there's terminal restlessness, a lesser-known but deeply telling sign. This isn't just about anxiety. It's a deep, internal unease, almost primal. A person may begin to fidget uncontrollably, pick at their bedsheets, pace despite being frail, or reach for something invisible in the air. It's as if the body knows time is limited but doesn't know how to be still in the face of it. Doctors say this can be the body's final protest, a result of internal imbalances or discomfort that's hard to verbalize. It may signal pain, confusion, or simply a body struggling to regulate itself in the final months or weeks. Here's what's critical to understand. While gradual memory lapses are part of aging, sudden or extreme changes in cognition, confusion, speech difficulties, disorientation, hallucinations are never normal, and they are never to be ignored. If your loved one suddenly forgets your name, looks lost in their own kitchen, or can't finish a sentence they've started 1,000 times before, it's time to ask serious questions. Medical intervention might reveal something reversible, like an infection, a medication error, or dehydration. But sometimes, these moments are the beginning of a deeper decline, a sign that the body is turning inward, conserving energy for its final journey. Still, there is no shame in this phase of life. Only the opportunity to respond with compassion, understanding, and the right kind of care. Because cognitive changes in our loved ones are not just signs of aging. They're often the first signs that the body is shifting, entering a phase that requires more comfort than cure. As we close this video, take a moment, reflect. We've walked through 7 signs, 7 quiet alarms the body sounds when it's approaching life's final chapter. Some are visible, others are hidden beneath the surface, but all of them matter. Maybe you've recognized some of these signs in someone close to you, maybe even in yourself. That recognition can feel like grief. It's hard, but it's also a gift. It means you're paying attention. It means you're not dismissing the whispers of the body. And that's the first step toward giving the people we love what they need most: peace, dignity, and presence. Remember, understanding these signs doesn't mean giving up hope. It means shifting our focus toward quality of life, comfort, and heartfelt connection. Every person's journey is different. Some will surprise you with resilience. Others may need more support than they ever did before. But the body has a way of telling us when it's time to change the kind of care we offer. And when we listen, truly listen, it becomes one of the most compassionate acts of love we can give. We want to hear from you. What stood out to you today? Have you witnessed any of these signs in someone you care about? What will you do differently now that you understand what these signs might mean? Leave a comment below and share just one thing you learned. Your stories, your insights, they mean more than you know. They help others feel less alone, and they help us continue creating content that speaks to the heart. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. Your support fuels us to continue making videos that inform, inspire, and most of all, connect. Thank you for being here. And as always, take care of yourself and your loved ones. We'll see you in the next video.